This presentation includes forward-looking statements that are subject to risks and uncertainties. Actual results may differ materially as a result of various risk factors, including those described in the 10Ks, 10Qs, and 8Ks VMware files with the SEC. Ladies and gentlemen, VMware would like to thank its global diamond sponsors. Its global platinum sponsors, and its platinum sponsors for VMworld 2015. VMware welcomes its VMworld members and leaders from around the globe.
It isn't easy to prepare an app for the real world. Apps need a place where they can be nurtured every day and rise to their utmost potential. That was the vision we had in creating the Cloud Academy. It's a safe and wonderful, unified hybrid world where all clouds come together as one. Here at the Cloud Academy, we strive to be secure, dependable, and always innovative. We build upon our vast experience while at the same time embracing the ever-changing technological landscape that these young apps must face.
We're just a startup, so we're raising our app in our garage.
This younger generation of apps has really grown up in the cloud. It's all they know. So when it came time to choose a cloud, we tried public, we tried private, but we needed more. Then we heard about Unified Hybrid Cloud.
It's the best of both.
What was that?
Our B round funding just closed.
Yeah!
Yes! Oh, so good.
Well, of course, our enterprise app is legacy. So you can understand that we were worried he might not fit in with these young cloud-native types.
But DB here has gotten along famously, and we've seen such an improvement. We really are quite proud of him.
If you didn't know better, you'd say he was cloud-native as well.
Yes, any app is welcome here, and every app can succeed. With the unified hybrid cloud, your app will truly be ready for any.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jean-Pierre Broulard.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm very excited to be here today. It's my 6th edition at VMworld, first edition on stage as a new leader for EMEA. So on behalf of VMware, I would like to welcome you to our general session of VMware Europe. First of all, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to all who have traveled from all over Europe to come here at Barcelona. And from south to east to north, I would like to say merci, gracias, grazie, efkaristos, toda raba, teşekkürler, shukran, spasiba, dziękuję, tak, danke, and thank you for the nations that I didn't mention today. Thank you for your ongoing commitment. VMworld Europe is not only a VMware event, it's becoming an industry event. Let's have a look at numbers. You are close to 10,000 record attendees in this room today. Thank you. Representing over 96 countries, not only for Europe, but for all over the world. Welcome to the 2,300 customers brought by VMUG, our VMware user group. Many thousands of you are watching us through the internet, so hello to all the people that are watching us on the line. 2,500 partners as well in VMworld. We have a fantastic day yesterday for the partner exchange. And let me repeat myself. Nothing should have been possible without you in the past. Nothing will be possible without you in the future. You are the sales force of VMware. And last but not least, we'd like to welcome our 150 influencers, journalists, analysts, and we have a special day for you today. VMworld is not only a VMware event, it's also an industry event. But it's not only about numbers. A core value at VMware is to giving back to the community. It's exactly what the VMware Foundation does. So this year again, you will have the opportunity to give back and to join our destination Give Back. For that, it's quite simple. You choose one of the 4 causes which are close to your heart. Children, education, health, or environment. You take a picture of yourself, or you take a picture of your causes, you post to Instagram, and when the mosaic will be complete, we will unlock the VMware Foundation. So please do get involved. At VMware, we are also committed to gender diversity within the IT industry. It's the reason that we have launched VMware Women to address that. So I invite you to join this afternoon the VMworld session, keynoted by Mrs. Winterberg Cox, which is CEO at 21st. We'll drive how gender diversity could drive success within organization. So it's both open to men and to women. So I invite you, to join us in all 8, 5 p.m. this afternoon. And now, I have a single question for you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for any, which is the theme of 2015 VMworld? Are you ready to listen from our executive? Are you ready to join our 300+ sessions that we have prepared specially for you? Are you ready to practice in our labs? Are you ready for fun, to have a great party on Wednesday night, to listen for a fantastic band? And now, are you ready for Carl Eschenbach? So if you are ready for any, I would like to introduce our President, Chief Operating Officer, and by the way, my boss, VMware iconic figures, Carl Eschenbach. Welcome on stage, Carl.
Thank you, JP. Thank you very much. Good morning and buenos dias, Barcelona, and welcome to VMworld Europe. This is always a very exciting time of year for us, where we get to spend time with, this year, 10,000 of our closest friends. And it gives VMware the great opportunity to engage, communicate, and connect with our customers, our partners, and our vast ecosystem. At the same time, it gives us the opportunity to share VMware's vision, strategy, and direction. Actually, not just for VMware, but typically for an entire industry. And it's at this event that allows us to prove to you each and every year that the VMware innovation engine is alive and well. For all of you, you get to learn, you get to explore, you get to connect, and you get to spend time with your peers. You get to leverage one of the many breakout sessions that we have here at the show this year. You get to leverage the always popular hands-on labs. And you get to go and explore all the companies in our Solutions Exchange and enjoy the many networking events that take place here each and every year. We are so pleased and proud to be once again here in Barcelona with all of you. Before I jump into my keynote, I'd like to just address the very exciting announcement that many of you have seen from yesterday. The announcement that Dell has entered into a definitive agreement to acquire EMC and take EMC private. For VMware, not a lot changes. We're still going to be a publicly traded company, and we'll continue to partner with the vast ecosystem that's made us so successful. And to show you that and prove to you that VMware will remain the innovative, driven company and continue to support our ecosystem to bring differentiated solutions to all of you, I'd like to run a short video that was shot by Michael Dell yesterday. Let's run the video.
Hello, VMworld Barcelona. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, but it's been a busy couple of days. Still, I did not want to miss this opportunity to say how excited we all are about our plans to unite Dell and EMC. From converged infrastructure to digital transformation, software-defined data center, hybrid cloud, mobile, and security, our combined company will deliver the cutting-edge solutions you need to compete and win in the data economy. The possibilities before us are incredible, and VMware leads the way as an amazing source of innovation for a cloud-based connected world. Dell and VMware have been close partners for a long time, and we've been a proud diamond sponsor of VMworld for many years. We look forward to working closely with my good friend and partner, Pat Gelsinger, the entire VMware team, and VMware's powerful ecosystem to help drive continued innovation for customers. Have a great show.
Thank you, Michael, for those very powerful words. VMware is very excited to be part of the Dell family of companies. We have a long-standing history and a rich history of partnership with Dell that we feel like will only get accelerated into the future. So now let's talk about this year's theme, Ready for Any, and ask you all a very simple question. Are you ready for any? Are you ready for any business opportunity? And in fact, are we ready to have IT actually drive revenue growth for our companies as opposed to being a cost center? Are we ready for any customer demand, whether that customer demand comes from a line of business or it comes from the developer community you all face off to each and every day? Are we ready for any application that we have to support that is coming at us each and every day? And lastly, are we ready for one of the many different technology disruptions we're seeing in our industry each and every day that we in IT are faced to support? Now, we know to be ready for any is not easy, and it causes many challenges and opportunities for us in IT. And since we were last together here in Barcelona over the last year, VMware has had the opportunity to meet thousands of customers in hundreds of countries around the world. And we've tried to boil down 3 challenges that we see each and every day for all of you in IT and as IT professionals. The first one is what we call cloud silos. Now, we know it's an if question, not a when. It's if we will use hybrid cloud, private cloud, or public. We know ultimately we will, but the challenge we're facing is we're seeing silos start to emerge. And your challenge with running a private cloud or a public cloud or some type of a managed cloud. And when you create silos, you create complexity. You create operating environments that are a lot more challenging. And we need to figure out how these cracks or silos become seamless going forward. A massive challenge we all need to address. There's other types of challenges and silos we're seeing as well, and that's in the application area, where we all know we have to support traditional applications and applications that are mission critical, or what we call systems of record applications like SAP and/or Oracle databases that are running our business. But we also need to be able to support the next generation of mobile cloud applications that we call cloud native. And today, as these become siloed infrastructures, it's very hard to get access to these applications when they're on different types of infrastructure environments. We all know we're living in a very disconnected world, and we're seeing the proliferation of content, the proliferation of applications, and clearly we're seeing a proliferation of devices. And people want to be able to use whatever device they want to get access and remain connected to applications and content. A very big challenge for all of us to address each and every day as IT professionals. Now, we at VMware believe the best way to address these challenges, address them through an opportunity, is to address them with something we call a one cloud, any application, any device strategy. Let me take a minute and talk about each of these. And let me start with one cloud. When we say one cloud, we're not talking about one homogeneous cloud. In fact, what we're talking about is the seamless integration of a private cloud, maybe a private cloud built on VMware software-defined data center, but a seamless integration with a public cloud or public clouds, plural, whether it's vCloud Air, it's one of our vCloud Air network partners, or AWS, or an Azure cloud. And lastly, that seamless extension needs to actually then go out to a managed private cloud, maybe something like VirtuStream. This seamless integration is what we at VMware call the unified hybrid cloud. And this unified hybrid cloud can have massive impact on both IT and your customers. For IT, what this means, it allows you to seamlessly act as if you're managing one logical cloud and using a common management platform to automate the deployment of your applications, whether on-premise or off-premise. This changes your world from those silos I spoke about earlier to a logical cloud, to a management console that can proliferate your applications on demand off into your user community. At the same time, as you talk to your customers, whether those customers are the line of business or developers, the distinction between on-premise IT and off-premise IT is eliminated forever. So let me give you an example as IT professionals what this means for you. You now have the ability to originate or build your applications either on-premise or off-premise. And you now have the ability to seamlessly move those workloads in a very secure way across clouds. And you'll see those examples coming up here on stage in just a couple minutes. We at VMware do not believe there is anyone in the industry today that can deliver a hybrid cloud platform and solution for our customers better than us. It's a bold statement, but it's a true statement. And you'll see many examples of how people are doing that at this show this week. Now, for many years, we have always said IT ultimately is about the application. And we all know that those applications start what we define as traditional applications. We all have hundreds, if not thousands, of traditional applications that you need to run each and every day. And in fact, those applications are the ones that actually run our business today. But at the same time, we know that application development environments and delivery methodologies are changing. And in fact, they're changing faster today than we've ever seen in the past, which is why we don't have to just support native or traditional applications, but we now need to start to think about the cloud applications, or what we call cloud native applications. And what you'll hear from today at VMworld is you'll hear us talk about the ability to deliver a unified platform that allows you to run traditional applications as well as cloud native applications like containers and all the open source technologies that are out there today. We have a unified platform that can deliver for you any application, anytime. Now, what this means for all of us is that we need to think about how we get access to applications. And as I said earlier, we live in a very disconnected world, and we have user demands that are unlike anything we've ever seen in the past. Our users want to use any device to get access to their applications and their content. But not only do they want to use any device, they want to be able to move from device to device and get the same experience that they always had, regardless of whether they're tethered to their desk or with their iPhone or whether they're with their tablet. Now, this is great if we can give that experience to our customers, but all of the onus falls back on IT to make sure that those applications and content are always secure as well as the device is secure. When we bring all of this together, VMware believes here today we're once again setting the vision for the future of IT with a one cloud architecture that is scalable, reliable, secure to support any application. And ultimately, those applications are only as good as the users who can get access to them with any device in a very secure way. This architecture is what we say allows you to innovate like a startup, yet deliver like an enterprise. So let me give you a few examples of how our customers today are working with VMware to leverage this one cloud, any application, any device architecture to transform not only their companies, but actually to transform their industries. And let me start by talking about an example of where VMware is working with an automotive manufacturer who can now not only monitor, but actually monitor and tune cars remotely and do it in real time. Or think about the education system. We're working with multiple school districts and schools around the world to deploy a unified hybrid cloud to allow students, parents, and teachers to securely get access to curriculum and content to any device they so desire. And by being able to do this securely, it allows us to expand the collaboration in the education world outside of a local school district and be able to do it globally. We are helping kids shape the future of what the education system looks like through a one cloud, any app, any device architecture. One of my favorite examples is we've been working with a 120-year-old pharmaceutical company. This pharmaceutical company has always had the vision of transforming how they deliver IT services, but they've been challenged because they couldn't move from this traditional world to a world of software-defined data center. So they decided to build 2 brand new data centers, software-defined. And one of the very first applications they put on top of this architecture was SAP. And now today, they're migrating over 450 applications a month onto this new architecture. In less than 1 year, they have completely transformed how they run, build, deliver, and secure their applications. Or look at the telecom industry, where people are now running voice over LTE applications on top of a virtualized environment. And they're able to bring new services to market faster than ever before. And in fact, the telecom market as a whole is going through a massive transformation. And they're all trying to figure out to do something we call network function virtualization. And it's this ability to use virtualization to transform the telecom industry that has been very rigid and very hardware-centric to allow them to reduce costs and bring and innovate faster than ever before. And today, I'm very excited to announce 3 new things VMware's bringing to market around NFV. First, we're bringing to market with a generally available product we're calling VMware vCloud NFV Platform, a unified platform for service providers and telcos to bring new networking services to market faster on VMware's virtualized infrastructure. We're also excited to announce what we call the VMware Ready for NFV certification program that allows our partners in the telecom industry to partner with us and have a certification to run on top of our platform. And third, what we call VMware carrier-grade support, to give our carriers the confidence to deploy NFV solutions from VMware at scale. And I ask all of you, if you're interested in this, please stop by the VMware booth where we have an NFV pod set up, and then right next to it we have a session or a section where our NFV partners will be showcasing their solutions on top of VMware. Now I'd like to shift gears quickly and introduce to you two customers that will join me here on stage this morning. But before I introduce them and bring them on stage, I'd like to run a very short video to introduce their companies. Let's please run the video.
Telefonica is one of the world's largest private telecommunications and broadband providers, with operations that span the globe throughout Europe, Asia, and North and South America. Nova Media is the world's third largest private charity donor, operating 5 European lotteries that raise billions for global charity organizations. To better connect with this new world of business, Telefonica and Nova Media turned to VMware.
I'd ask you all to please join me in welcoming to stage Juan Manuel Moreno, Vice President of Global Cloud Services from Telefonica, and Jan Ulstrom, CIO at Nova Media. Gentlemen, please join me on stage. Hello, Jan.
Hello, nice meeting you.
Hi, Juan. So, folks, this is going to be real tricky, not for these two gentlemen, but for me, because it's the Jan and Juan show. So I got to make sure I don't get confused as I ask each of you questions, and I think I'm going to get it right this morning. So let's start actually with quite an easy question, and ask each of you to describe your companies and some of the challenges or opportunities you're facing in the industry.
Okay.
How about you first, Jan?
Well, Carl, as you have seen in the video, our mission is fundraising for charities. During the past 25 years, Nova Media donated 6.6 billion euros to those charities, making Nova Media the third largest private donor in the world. We do fundraising with a zip code-based lottery in 3 countries. This lottery is also promoted by well-known international ambassadors like Johan Cruyff, Rafael Nadal, and Bill Clinton. We also are using well-known TV formats to promote the lottery. And for example, we have Deal or No Deal and Who Wants to Become a Millionaire. The double-digit growth of Nova Media was also bringing IT challenges. We had challenges on both scalability and security.
Yeah, it's great. What a story. I mean, one of the largest lottery systems in the world, and they give back 50% of their profits to charity. How about a round of applause for Nova Media and what they're doing? Juan, why don't you tell us a little bit about Telefonica?
Thank you, Carl. Thank you for bringing VMworld again to Barcelona, our home country. So we are a leading integrated telco with a significant presence in 21 countries, mainly in Europe and Latin America, more than 341 million customers worldwide. We are under a strong transformation, trying to be a digital telco that not only put in place traditional comms, fixed and mobile, but also digital services. And we aspire with all of that to be a leading and trusted partner that enable the digital life of our customer or the transformation of our customer companies.
Now, Juan, you own these cloud services from a go-to-market perspective for Telefonica, which means you probably engage and interact with a lot of your customers. What are their biggest demands, and how are you addressing their demands?
Customers are looking the same thing that we are looking. Your company, my company is help for the digital transformation, and we are all of us looking the same things, being more intelligent enterprise, using properly the data we get from anywhere. So we are looking, our customers are looking for new ways to engage with the customer, in order to sell more, transforming all the processes in order to be more lean and agile, retain all the talent and improving the employees' productivity, and transforming our value chains, or the customer value chain, through partner ecosystem. So as a digital telco, we are changing totally our value proposition and including all the services that help to this digital transformation, including, I have said before, not only traditional comms, but also cloud, security, Internet of the Things, and big data.
Sounds like a lot of demands coming from your customers. With that being said, how are you addressing those demands in partnership with VMware?
So the first thing is that we share totally your vision of one cloud, any device or any application, not only in order to share the same infrastructure for all the workloads, internal or external. So in our core business, we are transforming also through NFV and SDN, so a great opportunity to use this one cloud vision for that. I would like that all the devices will be connecting my footprint through my network with your technology. Yeah. Cloud is a key piece of our value proposition. We have been partnering with VMware since 2007, building private and public cloud services. So some pieces of your portfolio, we are using vCloud Suite for our virtual data center service that we have been delivering in 8 countries with local capillarity and trying to address the compliance and security issues that our customer has worldwide. That is now in a boot. And also at the same time, we are using vCenter Operation Manager in order to automatize all the service, or vRealize portal in order to provide access to all the customers to our infrastructure. And last but not least, we have been partnered with AirWatch previous to acquisition, and now reinforcing that partnership in order to provide end-to-end services with AirWatch technology.
Yeah, so we're very excited about the recent announcement and partnership expansion that we have Telefonica deliver, managed device services leveraging the AirWatch technology. So thanks for that partnership. So Jan, back to you. You talked about this massive growth that Nova Media is going through. How did you address these challenges of growth? I mean, it's a massive business to begin with, yet growing still double digits, and how do you address that?
Well, the incredible growth of Nova Media was having IT challenges for us on scalability, performance, and security. Business demanded prompt, secure IT delivery, and we saw that we were not able to deliver those requirements anymore. So we really had to rethink our IT strategy. In a totally new greenfield approach, we decided to build new data centers. At the same time, we were confronted with business requirements in cost reduction due to the challenges in the lottery market.
So you mentioned 2 words there, scale and security. Sounds like quite an interesting challenge. And what specifically did you do at Nova Media to address scalability and security in your IT environments?
Well, we turned to EMC and VMware. Within a year, we built 4 software-defined data centers powered by NSX. I'm happy to announce that today, all Nova Media countries, Holland, Sweden, and the UK are running on those data centers. Our new private cloud is providing a high level of automation and security for us by using the vCloud suite and NSX tightly integrated with the Palo Alto security platform.
Wow, how about that? So in 1 year, built 4 new data centers on a software-defined data center architecture, leveraging NSX for security and integrating it with Palo Alto Net, which is pretty impressive, folks. How about a round of applause what they're doing at Nova Media? So Juan, let's talk a little bit about future direction and talk about what you're seeing in the future and how do you plan on addressing those customer demands, not only today but in the future through our partnership, and what's Telefonica doing about it?
The first thing is that we are getting a lot from the relationship in the revenue point of view, because we are growing our cloud business 40% year over year and also reducing the cost through your automatization tools. But at the same time, for the next future, I think that hybrid environment and bringing legacy workload from our customer to a hybrid environment, you call unified hybrid. That's the concept. That kind of services, I think, are key for the next future. We are also exploring NSX technology for the data center. But not only that, we are totally committed to the internal transformation of our legacy platform in the communication side. So SDN and NFB is quite critical for us. I think we can partner in that area in the near future.
Yeah, we're very excited to be partnering with you, not only on the go-to-market side, but how you can leverage our technology around network function virtualizations and other things to accelerate your business. So Jan, back to you. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what the impact was of the software-defined data center to the Nova Media business.
For the Nova Media business, we now are able to deliver full-tiered application stacks in minutes. In the past, this was taking days for us. So at the same time, we achieved a cost reduction of more than 10% on our budget. With the current gaming legislation, we have limited using of our hybrid cloud, but we built our premises cloud-like. So when this legislation is going to change, we're easy to move towards the hybrid cloud. Your one cloud, any app, any device solution is resonating with us, and we're building towards that.
That's great. So in wrapping up, one final question for each of you. I'll start with you, Jan. You have 10,000 of your closest friends and peers here in the audience. What type of advice would you give them to help transform not only their IT organization, but also their technology infrastructure?
Well, first of all, you have to be bold, you have to be innovative, and you have to be aggressive. Secondly, you have to find the right partner to go for that. And for Nova Media, VMware has been proven to be the right partner. And for me personally, the NSX-powered software-defined data center is real and is here today.
Very good. Juan?
So I think that the most important thing is not be afraid and think in order to think in a different way. I think all the companies need to transform the process and sustain legacy business model and search for the best partner. At the same time, be customer-oriented, customer-focused. But it's not only a question of digital transformation. The transformation should be quite quick. I think the right word in order to do this is disruption. My last advice is disrupt yourself before the external competitor or industry disrupt you. So
very good. Well, Jan, Juan, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for your partnership, and I hope both of you get to enjoy the rest of VMworld. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Over the next few days, you'll see many examples and hear many examples of how our customers, in partnership with VMware and our ecosystem, are transforming their environments to a one cloud, any app, any device architecture. Now let me give you a sneak preview of the upcoming keynotes you'll hear the rest of this morning and then again tomorrow morning. Our first keynote, following myself up here this morning, will be around build. And it's not just about building, but it's in building and embracing both traditional applications as well as containers and cloud-native applications to help drive and transform your business. Then Raghu and team will come up here and talk about run, what it takes to run a hybrid cloud environment and leverage the powerful software-defined data center platform to actually transform your business and support all of those applications that you need and want to going forward. Tomorrow morning, we'll have an exciting keynote from the always energized Sanjay, who will talk about how we're delivering this vision of allowing your users to use any device to get access to any application through VMware's continuous innovation in our end-user computing business. And last, we're going to close tomorrow before Pat Gelsinger gets on stage talking about how we can accelerate both networking and security and how they come together all the way from the data center all the way to a device. And then tomorrow morning, our final keynote will be a very thought-provoking, exciting presentation from Pat Gelsinger, VMware CEO. And he will give you his perspective on the 5 imperatives for the digital business. And he will help all of you answer a very key question. And that is, what do business and IT leaders need to do today to actually be prepared and stay ahead for what's coming tomorrow? In this morning's closing for me, I want to start where I began and ask a very simple question. Are you ready for any? And I would say that individually, we're probably not. But together, we are absolutely ready for any. Enjoy VMworld 2015 and have a great day. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ray O'Farrell.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here at VMworld 2015 in Barcelona. Today we are going to talk about applications. And specifically, we're going to talk about a new class of application, the cloud-native application. And cloud-native applications are those applications which are built from the very beginning to leverage the power of the cloud. Quite often, these applications are at the very heart of the digital transformation your organizations are going through. The developers of these applications reside in the lines of business, and the software that they develop is quite often key to the systems of customer engagement within those lines of business, which in turn are key to the competitiveness of those lines of business. And because of that, these applications need to be capable of scaling in a very elastic fashion, reacting to customer demand, being able to scale up and down as needed. And in addition, they need to be highly redundant, meaning that for customer access across a global scale, they are always available, even when there's challenges with the underlying infrastructure. Because of that, the developers, as they build these applications, are using some new technologies. And the new technologies they're using are emphasized by concepts such as microservices, Linux containers, and a heavy leverage of open source components. As you as an IT organization want to support and take advantage of the opportunities of these two new types of applications, you often face a challenge on how to manage and secure them. What we are going to talk about today is VMware's answer to that challenge. Two new approaches, two products which focus on making it easier to blend these new type of applications into the existing way that you do your work today, and also a second platform which focuses on how to specifically operate these new type of applications in a greenfield or container-focused fashion. And to help us learn more a little bit about this, I'd like to welcome, please, on board Kit Colbert. And Kit is the general manager of the organization at VMware, which focuses on cloud-native applications. Hi, Kit. How you doing?
Hey, Ray. How you doing?
I'm good.
Still liking the CTO gig?
Yeah, a lot more travel than I used to do before, I'm noticing. So hey, Kit, I've spoken a little bit about cloud-native applications and about the impact of those applications on lines of business and how IT operates with those lines of business. And over again, we see new technologies appearing in them. And one of the key new technologies is containers.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that fits into management and security?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of interest in containers from developers and application teams. And the reason is that what containers allow you to do, or what they allow developers to do, is to package up their applications and then very seamlessly move through the application development lifecycle, from coding on their laptop to testing in a staging environment to production where they can deliver that application out to end users. So we see that containers are tremendously valuable because they help drive business agility overall.
So one of the challenges, though, with new technologies such as containers is how do I manage them? And what happens if I've got existing applications and new applications, I want to blend them together? And probably the easiest way to look at some of those challenges is to take a demo.
Yeah.
And if you could show us, please, how they fit in, or maybe some challenges, how they fit in into IT operations today.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at a demo here. It shows a very clear real-life scenario. So what we're looking at here is a viewpoint of a developer leveraging Docker, specifically Docker Compose, to run and build their application. So you can see in one simple command, they can start this application up. This is a multi-component application. They can then run the PS command to see that, in fact, there's actually 5 container instances that are running here. And if we flip over to the web browser, what we'll see is that these multiple container instances actually work together to create an overall web application. In this case, it looks like a session builder. And it looks like you've got a very interesting session there, right?
Yeah, if you come to this session, you do not get free beer.
No free beer. Okay, well, it might reduce your session attendance there. But that's OK. So if we switch back to the admin's point of view, we saw the developer and what they saw. But now let's look at the admin's point of view. Now, the developer provisioned 5 containers. But if you notice here in vSphere, you don't see 5 containers, right? You see 2 VMs. So there's this lack of visibility there. The developer sees one thing, but IT sees another.
So one of the challenges here, then, as I observe, is this mismatch between what the IT organization sees and what the developer sees in terms of what they're trying to do. Could we go back to the slides, please? So quite often, I see containers deployed in this way. You end up with a bunch of containers living within a virtual machine. The developer wants to manage those containers. The IT organization simply sees the virtual machine. And that triggers a partial visibility, which introduces a management challenge. But not alone is this a management challenge, it leads to a security challenge, because it is very difficult to secure what you do not see. You don't know what's going on inside in that virtual machine, and so we get a side effect of a security challenge starting to appear.
Right. And I think the third point on that one that I'll add is the issue around tooling. All right, you guys have built out a lot of tools and technologies and training within the virtualization environment, and those things work great for VMs, but can't see containers, and so you can't manage them, to your point, Ray.
Okay. So one of the first products we're going to speak of today, which is an answer to this problem, is vSphere integrated containers. And what vSphere integrated containers does, it allows you to extend your existing vSphere infrastructure and make it easier to manage and secure containers within that infrastructure. And so it does so in a way from an IT point of view. You get to manage your security, the visibility in management in ways that you understand. And equally, it does not make compromises for the developer. They maintain their ability to use their portable, fast, light methodology of just continuous integration, which you've become used to when they're leveraging cloud-native applications.
Right. So if we drill into vSphere integrated containers, let's take a look at how this works under the covers. So what we just saw in the previous demo was that the developer had access to a virtual machine into which they installed a container engine, specifically Docker. They were then able to provision those containers inside the VM, but that led to all the challenges that we just saw. So with vSphere integrated containers, we take a different approach. What we're doing here is moving to effectively a one-to-one model between containers and VMs. And what we do is we essentially virtualize over the Linux distro and the container engine, effectively building them into vSphere. In the one-to-one mapping, the container becomes the VM becomes the container, and this enables us to get all the great properties of management and visibility into containers that we're looking for.
Okay, so once again, let's go to a demo where we can take a look at that same scenario that we saw earlier, but now how it plays out when you're using vSphere integrated containers.
Yeah, so similar demo, but this time what we're doing is with vSphere integrated containers, there's a new area in vSphere called a virtual container host. And so what we can do here is create these virtual container hosts for our developers to use, we being, of course, the VI admin in this case. So you can see here there's a couple of ones that have been created. We can pass this information along to the developers for their use. OK, so let's flip back to the developer point of view. Now, what you'll notice here is that this is the exact same workflow the developer went through previously. There's absolutely no difference, right? The developer doesn't even know vSphere is behind the scenes here. They're just using Docker like they've always done. So again, you can see here we have 5 containers running for this developer. So now let's flip back to vSphere, to the vSphere web client. And if we previously saw only 2 VMs, what we can now see are all 5 containers. So full visibility in those containers. We can see what's running inside of them, but we can even see the VM that backs them. And we can drill into that VM. Now this is this kind of container VM, but it's a normal VM to vSphere. You can do anything you can do to it to anything else, right? You can apply VirtualSAN to it, or NSX, or any other great technologies out there. Better yet, you can also drill in and get more data on it. Things like performance data, monitoring data, et cetera, to see how that container is actually running. So this is stuff you don't have visibility to today. But with vSphere integrated containers, it enables you to manage these containers just like you do to your VMs. So
one of the most impressive parts of that demo to me is the fact that the developer is able to basically continue in the way that they really want to do. As you say, not even realizing that there's a lot more infrastructure beneath them, securing them, and easier to manage beneath them.
Right.
However, what really stands out is some of the concepts around security, echoing back to what I had said earlier. So I mentioned earlier this concept where today mouse containers execute within VMs, multiple containers within a single VM. And from a security point of view, if one of those containers should be compromised in some fashion, the only protection to the other containers is the isolation characteristics of the operating system. However, with vSphere integrated containers, you now have each container wrapped in a protective isolation of a VM, a protection and isolation method you become to know and trust for many years with your VMware products. If that same container becomes compromised in some way, it only affects that isolated, containerized VM at that point. A much better security story.
Yeah, that's a great point. And another question that we get a bit on this vSphere integrated containers approach is the question around efficiency. People hear 1 container per VM. Is that really efficient? And the answer is absolutely yes. And we've been driving efficiency into the virtualization layer for many, many years, and we're continuing to do so now. So the first thing we're doing is something called Photon OS. It's a Linux distro from VMware that's hyper-optimized for containers and virtualization. And so you can see here it's only 25 megabytes in size, so super, super lightweight. Secondly, we're innovating with a technology called Instant Clone. What Instant Clone does is allow you to get a new VM powered on and ready to go in under 1 second with 0 memory overhead initially. And when you combine these two technologies, you really get a new form of virtualization, a lighter weight type of virtualization, and something we're calling just enough virtualization, or a JEVM, to signify this new lightweight form of virtualization that's really perfect for containers.
Okay, so we've learned a little bit about this new type of support for containers with vSphere integrated containers, but let's see what customers think of this. So we're going to have a brief video here from Jonathan Bowman, the CTO of NX Systems.
NX Systems is a global payment solution provider. We have an outreach in 180 countries. We move over 80 currencies, and our systems are in over 90 languages, and we assist corporates in all their money movements. Our biggest challenge right now is we're getting a lot of business requests of new features and new products. Development is going quite fast, and we're looking at technology which will help us get there, which are mainly containerized solutions and cloud-native apps. NX Systems has been experimenting with containers for over 24 months, and when we saw that VMware invested the time to get the containers to work even in a native format, that gave us a lot of advantages because it meant that we can remove the operating system upon which the containers lie. With vSphere integrated containers, we have peace of mind that all the security profiles that we set up at the root and at the host are being applied also to our containers, so we know that we're going to be safe. One thing that was always clear when we started our relationship with VMware was that they were always a step ahead of us, and that is why we all chose them as our virtualization platform.
Awesome. Well, we're so thankful for Jonathan and the whole NX Systems team for working closely with us and really driving their journey around containers. And I think that's really what vSphere Integrated Containers is all about, right? It's enabling you to run both your traditional applications inside of VMs and your next generation applications inside of containers side by side, all on a single platform, using all the tooling, training, and technology that you're familiar with.
Okay, so we spoke about, obviously, vSphere integrated containers, but at the beginning of this presentation, I mentioned that we had 2 approaches. So what we also want to talk about is a new platform, and this platform is the Photon platform. And this is focused specifically on cloud-native applications and is engineered from the beginning to support those applications. It is not an extension of the existing vSphere technology, but leverages some of that technology for security and some of the best ways that we can deal with the underlying infrastructure. So the VMware Photon platform is basically a new infrastructure. It is a scalable infrastructure platform. It is very much focused from a DevOps point of view. It's API-driven for management, etc. But yet it maintains the strong ability to support multi-tenancy, security, and isolation that you've come to expect from VMware infrastructure. Most importantly, the design point of this focuses very much on a simple concept of just what you need. So it gives you enough to be able to really execute these new cloud-native applications, yet leverage the infrastructure around them, which Kit will talk to a little bit right now.
Yeah, let's double-click and see what exactly is inside a Photon platform. So as Ray mentioned, Photon platform is separate and distinct from vSphere. Right? Now, that being said, we're leveraging some of the great vSphere technologies like the core ESX virtualization engine inside of a component called Photon Machine. So Photon Machine is what you install on your physical hosts. And as I said, it's got the core ESX hypervisor plus Photon OS, our lightweight Linux distro. And the idea there is you install that on your hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of physical machines in the data center that you want to run Photon platform on. Now, once you have those installed, you need a very high scale and distributed scheduler to manage all those physical hosts. And that's exactly what Photon Controller provides. Now, one of the other issues when you get into this sort of scale that we're talking about, which is tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of container instances, you can't manage each individual container by itself. Instead, you need frameworks that allow you to manage these containers as a cluster. And this is exactly what technologies like Cloud Foundry, Docker, Mesos, et cetera, enable. So as part of what we're doing with Photon Platform is tightly integrating with these frameworks to give a best-of-breed experience both to developers and to IT ops.
Okay, so once again, let's run through a demo and see what Photon platform really looks like, both to a developer and to somebody managing that infrastructure.
Sure, and before we jump into the demo here, I want to talk about the thing that we're showing in the demo, which is a true kind of cloud-native application. And so here what we have is an application at massive scale. So we have multiple application teams working on this collectively. They've each chosen different technologies to solve the specific area that they're working on. And yet all these technologies can run together on top of Photon platform in a secure, scalable, multi-tenant fashion. OK, so with this picture in mind, let's dive into the demo here. So now what we're looking at is Photon platform from a cloud admin's point of view. And as you can see here, Photon platform is aggregating over about 1,000 hosts into one giant pool of resources. And you can look at the overall usage of those resources. Now, the more interesting thing here is how those resources are being used by the various tenants of the system, the different application teams. So you can see here there's 3 different ones, and let's just walk through them really quickly. So the first tenant has chosen to use Mesos in order to run a big data system doing big data analysis. And that's great. They have high scale, but still full security and separation from everyone else. If we look at the next tenant, we can see that they've chosen to use Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a container cluster scheduler, and they're using that to do their application development and runtime. So let's take a look at what they see from a developer point of view. Now, the really powerful thing about Photon platform is that, as I said, when you're talking about high scale, you can't get into the business of managing individual containers, individual VMs, so on and so forth. You want to manage clusters. And that's exactly what's happening here. So you can see that with a single command, this developer or development team can create an entire Kubernetes cluster filled with many, many VMs, storage, network, et cetera. Photon platform takes care of all of that. And then with another simple command, we can very quickly create or deploy, an application. And then you can see the results of that. There's many, many application instances running. This only took a few seconds. It's completely transparent and super simple. But if we flip back to the admin point of view, we can now refresh the screen and see the same view the developers see themselves. Right? So again, this partial visibility problem I mentioned before, we're also addressing here in Photon platform. So let's go to the next tenant. The next tenant is running Cloud Foundry to do their application development and runtime. And again, if we flip over to the application developer point of view, again, we see they're going at this from a command line or API-driven type of model, not necessarily a GUI model. And that's what they want. So you can see here that they have one application running, only about 10 instances of it so far. But they're doing this kind of test dev scenario here, and they want to move into production. So what they're doing is actually scaling that up from 10 instances up to 1,000. So again, very high scale, very simple, one-line command to make all this stuff work. And that's really the power of Photon platform. What we're talking about here is multiple application teams, each using the technology of their choice, fully separated in a multi-tenant environment and a highly scaled environment as well. And that's exactly what Photon platform delivers.
So Photon platform is a new platform, and so one of the questions you're probably asking is how do you get hold of it? So for the Photon platform, we have multiple distribution options. First of all, the Photon controller itself, which is at the very heart of the scalable infrastructure tied into the Photon platform, will be available as open source. And that will be coming soon. Somewhere in the next few weeks, we'll be making that available. Then we've got the Photon platform itself. And this will be available from VMware in a subscription model. Again, coming soon. We'll talk a little bit how to get access to that in a few moments. And then finally, we have a new bundle. A bundle between Pivotal Cloud Foundry and the Photon platform. And this gives you a best-in-class infrastructure which leverages a really top-class platform as a service combined with this new Photon platform technology. And that is available as an integrated bundle. And both of those will be available in private betas right now. Kit will give you some idea how to get hold of those later. So we've spoken about 2 platforms here. I think it's probably worth just summarizing for a second what the 2 platforms are and what the differences between them are. Kit, can you do that?
Yeah. So these are 2 different infrastructure platforms, right? Both of which we install effectively on bare metal servers. The first, as we know, vSphere. We all know and love it. We're extending that with vSphere integrated containers. This allows you to run both your traditional applications and your next-gen applications side by side on a common platform. However, as we talked about with Photon platform, we do have a number of customers that have a critical mass of these next-gen apps and are looking for more DevOps-style operational models. And that's exactly what Photon platform provides. It really is only targeted for cloud-native apps, whereas vSphere provides you the best of both worlds. And so really what we're providing here is optionality for customers. You can choose one, the other, or sometimes both.
So one of the strengths that you get when you leverage VMware products today is the enormous ecosystem we have around those products. And the same is true of vSphere integrated containers and the Photon platform. We have partnerships around the orchestration of this infrastructure, application partners which can run on top of the infrastructure, and of course partnerships with some key infrastructure as a service vendors as well.
Yeah, so Ray, you mentioned the betas before, and I'm sure that's something that many of you are interested in. If so, please reach out to your VMware account team to get more information and to sign up. Now, there's a tremendous amount of activity happening in the cloud-native space here at VMworld this week. There's so much, in fact, we put together a little guide to help organize everything that's happening. So if you're interested, please check that out. And finally, we're doing something a little bit fun with vSphere integrated containers. We've actually modified it to support MS-DOS and old MS-DOS games like Doom, Prince of Persia, and so forth. So we have this playing at the VMware Video Game Container System over in the hang space in Hall 7. So we really encourage you to go check it out. A fun way of exploring this technology.
Thank you, Kit. So let's wrap up here. We've spoken about these two different new platforms. And essentially what we're looking at here is the ability for the IT organization to be able to secure and manage these new cloud-native applications, while at the same time making sure that developers, without compromising on what they need to do to deliver cloud-native applications and leverage the frameworks associated with that, that both of these can be brought together into a unified story. And that's what these two products are about. So thank you, and have a great VMworld. Thanks.
Thank you.
Business is changing fast and the competition fierce. These successful companies depend on unified hybrid cloud services to provide customers with mobility, agility, and security.
The Hut Group is the UK's leading multi-website online retailer. If our websites are down, we're losing money hand over fist. The technology that we use in-house is compatible with that offered in the vCloud DR as a service. Should something catastrophic happen, we'll be able to recover in a known manner, tested manner, in a very short space of time to ensure that if anything happens, we can stand it up and start to ship products again with the knowledge that it will work.
At the end of this quarter, we will have virtual data center deployed in 8 countries. Our main objectives with our cloud services was help customers to move existing applications to the vCloud Air network. With public cloud, customers can have flexibility. They do not run out of capacity. With private cloud, customers can have control. With a hybrid cloud, they can have a smart combination of both worlds.
As a global provider for enterprise software, agility, flexibility, and scalability are very important for us to be successful in our market. And since VMware established a new data center in Germany, the integration of vCloud Air services into our existing infrastructure was very easy. Right from the beginning, we were supported by the VMware customer success team, and they helped us step by step to move into the public cloud.
When we speak to customers, the majority of them all state that they need a hybrid cloud capability. Deploying a private cloud that's fully software defined allows us to automate all of the common catalog request items that customers make. Load balancer changes, firewall changes, storage requests, all of those things become automated. The key benefit to customers is, of course, that allows them to deliver IT infrastructure as a service back to their internal customers, allowing their business to be more competitive in the market.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bill Fathers.
Well, good morning, VMworld. Now the cool stuff. Last year we talked about how adoption of public cloud was dramatically increasing. Over 95% of you now have an application or some storage in the public cloud. We also talked about how by embracing a hybrid strategy as you embrace the cloud, this would allow you to get the benefits of the cloud faster, with less risk, and also maintaining far more in the way of architectural flexibility. Now, Carl also just introduced our unified hybrid cloud vision. But you might be sitting at the back there thinking, what exactly do they mean by hybrid? Is it as simple as just connecting a SaaS application to your existing on-premises environment? No. It's a much higher order mission, and if you get it right, it can deliver far more in the way of strategic benefit to your business. Ultimately, our vision is that hybrid is about allowing your applications to have ubiquitous, or I think in French you say omnipresent, access to computing resources at any time for any of your applications regardless of which geography you happen to be operating in. Let's think about that. So the way we want you to think about hybrid is you're effectively treating your existing environment, let's say your private cloud, so they can also get access to public clouds like vCloud Air, or clouds provided by any one of our thousands of vCloud Air network service providers, and begin to think about it as a single pool of resources. Really cool. Let's say you're extending one of your applications and rolling it out across Europe. But of course, you have to think about the physical locations as you're navigating things like data sovereignty and data protection laws. Let's just imagine if you could perhaps just reach out to use any one of our vCloud Air network providers, like OVH or any one of the hundreds that we have that spread Europe. And the combined footprint of this network of partners, if you think about it, is absolutely unparalleled in terms of the breadth and reach that you're going to get from that. Now, many thousands of you are already embracing this hybrid strategy and this hybrid vision. And you're already getting tremendous benefit from it. And in my job, I'm very lucky in that I spend a lot of my time talking to thousands and thousands of customers about how they're starting to embrace the cloud and get real value. And these three use cases crop up time and time again as ways in which clients are starting to really embrace a hybrid vision. The first is using the cloud for disaster recovery or availability, protecting the crown jewels of your business. The second is how you're starting to use the hybrid cloud for driving increased performance or availability of your existing application. We call that application scaling. And the third area around extending your core customer-facing processes to your suppliers or customers and deploying new mobile applications. Now, the first one, frankly, hundreds of thousands of you have already cracked, and that's using the hybrid cloud and the underlying compatibility of the technologies and vSphere replication to be able to use the cloud as a location for backup or disaster recovery. So I won't cover that much more today. But if we're diving into the heart of how you're starting to digitize your businesses, let's get into application scaling in a bit more detail. Now, as many of you have already discovered, latency kills revenue. It doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter if you're a frontline trading application or if you're an advertising placement agency or a risk analytic engine. In all cases, you're beginning to discover that milliseconds really, really matter. And as you've started to try and scale your existing applications into some of the big third-party public clouds, you've quickly discovered you don't get the performance, it's really complicated, and it's pretty expensive. There's a number of issues there, but the main bottleneck is networking. Now, with VMware's hybrid cloud platform, what we effectively enable you to do is stretch your existing local area network into any other SDDC, or software-defined data center-based cloud. And we're not just talking about the old VPN tunnels. This is about fundamentally preserving and stretching your entire network architecture from your data center into the cloud. This is absolutely game-changing. This means that your application can now start to think about both your on-premises existing environment and the public cloud as a single pool of resources. Wouldn't it be really cool if you could do something like vMotion from your on-premises environment into the cloud? So you could do a live expansion of your existing environment. That would be cool if only we could do that. Well, much of this is available today, and we already have a capability called Hybrid Cloud Manager that effectively enables you to do this. I'm also going to talk about the deployment of mobile applications and how you do that on a hybrid cloud platform. Now, these are the apps that really, really fuel digital business. Now, for most of you, you're building these applications so you can extend some of your core functionality into the hands of your customers. And I'm sure if you think about it, most of you have projects today going on to enable you to expose some of these processes into a mobile device. Now, deploying these mobile applications into the public cloud can be pretty complicated. Now, why is that? A lot of the complexity stems from the fact that as you deploy this mobile application in the public cloud, to be useful, it needs to get access to applications like Carl referred to them as systems of record, your mission-critical applications like your ERP systems, which is where a lot of the data that the mobile front-end application needs to be able to get access to. Now, doing this properly requires you to really think about your network architecture, where the data's residing, and then really fundamentally think about your whole application and deployment model. And of course, how are you going to maintain your compliance while the the data is swishing back and forth between the public and the private cloud environments? You heard Jan refer to that when he was referring to the gaming regulations. So that's important. But the other issue is, how do you encourage the developers to want to develop applications on this hybrid platform? Well, what you're seeing us do now is make a range of application services available on our unified hybrid platform, starting with things like database services, mobile application back-end services that we're perhaps going to demonstrate some of this in a little while, and also now emerging storage services, file, object, even block storage services that the applications can reach out and get access to. And also, the Photon and vSphere integrated containers platforms that Ray and Kit just talked about are also now available. And finally, I talked a little bit about the mission-critical applications that also often reside on premises. We also added a company, VirtuStream, to the EMC Federation of companies, and they specifically focus on running those mission-critical applications in the cloud. So really, the VMware hybrid platform is uniquely positioned to start to accommodate what is a fundamental shift in the way you're deploying applications as you embrace the public cloud. And we call this hybrid applications. That's right, hybrid apps. And that is the future architecture for all of your future applications as you embrace the best of public and private clouds. And it makes sense, really, doesn't it? Because a modern application can't care about whether it's living on premises or in the cloud. It has to be able to make the best of both worlds. And that, in turn, means you need to think about how you're going to integrate your existing on-premises or private cloud with your private cloud so your applications can regard them as a single pool of resources. Now, we at VMware are way ahead of the curve on this. And frankly, we've been looking at this for several years as we've been embracing the hybrid strategy within our core R&D facilities. Now, one of the reasons why we're so far ahead is that an esteemed colleague of mine has been driving this requirement based on some customer feedback for a long, long time. So to hear more about how our hybrid platform truly differentiates in this market and meets this customer need, what I'd like to do is introduce Raghu Raghuram, who's our Executive Vice President and General Manager of our Software-Defined Data Center division. So with that, Raghu.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Good morning and welcome to VMworld Barcelona. So I get to work with a fantastic engineering team at VMware, and they're inspired by the challenge of producing the best infrastructure for all of your applications. Now, in the early days of VMware, more than a dozen years ago, when we thought about an application, it was primarily confined to a single server. So through the magic of server virtualization, we were able to provide the best infrastructure and the best management for these applications. Along the way, applications evolved. They became more distributed across the data center with multi-tier applications and databases and code and logic distributed across the data center, tied together by a shared networking and shared storage. We came up with the concept of the software-defined data center by virtualizing compute, virtualizing network, and virtualizing storage to provide the best infrastructure for these distributed applications. Now, as Bill talked about, application environments are changing yet again. We are in the era of hybrid applications. Part of the application runs in your private data center, part of the application runs in the cloud. So in order to provide the best infrastructure for these applications, it's not sufficient just to build a private cloud infrastructure. It's not sufficient just to build a public cloud infrastructure. you got to be able to tie the two together with a common networking and management backplane. If you do that, you've built a unified hybrid cloud. The best environment for running these hybrid applications is a unified hybrid cloud. And the software-defined data center technologies form the foundation of the unified hybrid cloud. Now, in order to build out this unified hybrid cloud, we are focusing on 3 dominant investment themes. The first one is simplify. Simplify the task of building and deploying a private cloud. Now, we can all agree that building a private cloud by integrating traditional hardware and software components is just too complex. With the software-defined data center, you can dramatically simplify this task, enabling you to deliver a private cloud that has the agility, the economics, and the ease of consumption of the public cloud. Now, once you've built out the private cloud, the next investment theme for us is to extend. And this is across 2 domains, in networking and in management. In networking, the first part of what we are doing is to virtualize the network so that you can have applications literally spread across any cloud connected together on a single logical network with consistent security and network policies. We are also attacking the hard problem of transporting packets, compressing, accelerating, and routing them from public cloud to private cloud and vice versa. Once we build the network foundation, we are focusing on the management layer to provide a consistent way of managing your hybrid applications wherever they happen to be running. The third area of investment is reach, to enable you and your developers to build applications that can literally reach thousands, if not millions, of users and devices. So we are building out a portfolio of application services by ourselves and in conjunction with our partners so that you can build these applications very easily. Now, we've made a lot of progress across each one of these areas. And to showcase some of the exciting progress that we've made, let me invite one of our senior engineering leaders, Yanbing Li.
Good morning. Good morning, Raghu.
Good morning, Yanbing.
Thank you. Good morning, Barcelona. I have an incredible job at VMware, working for 2 bosses at the same time, Bill and Raghu. So I get to live and breathe the hybrid cloud on a daily basis and seeing how our public and private cloud solution come together to form the unified hybrid cloud. What I'm going to do today is to take you through some of the latest engineering innovation to show you how VMware can help you build the unified hybrid cloud. We will start with simplify, how SDDC can help you simplify the process of building your private cloud, and extend, how we can help you extend that seamlessly and securely into the public cloud, and reach, how we can help you use the power of this platform to build applications and reach your millions of users. So the technology foundation of the unified hybrid cloud is the software-defined data center. Over the years, we continue to innovate. And today, this platform encompasses the best-in-class compute virtualization, network virtualization, and storage virtualization. And that includes my personal favorite product, the best storage platform ever built, the VirtualSAN. All of this is managed by layers of automation in vRealize suite. So Raghu, you personally coined the terminology software-defined data center, and you lead our effort in this business. What is top of mind for you nowadays?
Yeah, Yanbing, we have made great progress, as you just mentioned, on the individual components of the software-defined data center. Where customers want us to focus now is in integrating and delivering a complete solution using these components.
So the integration and the simplification, one way to address that challenge is through integrated systems that combine hardware and software in a prescriptive solution that is ready to deploy. At VMworld San Francisco, we announced Evo SDC. This is a new innovative software suite that helps you build innovative integrated systems that is hyper-converged and also fully software-defined. As part of the Evo SDC, we have a software called Evo SDC Manager that allows you to simplify the setup and configuration of your software-defined data center. So Evo SDC is built on a scale-out architecture. You can start small with just 8 servers. As you need more capacity, you can simply expand that to multiple racks. A key benefit of Evo SDC is how it accelerates the process of initial configuration and setup of your software-defined data center. What it used to take weeks of effort plus team of experts can now be accomplished in just 2 hours. So think about, 2 hours, you have your SDC already set up. Each Evo SDC rack can scale to 1,000 VMs to support infrastructure as a service, or 2,000 for VDI use cases, and with more than 2 million IOPS. These are fairly impressive numbers on their own. Should you need more capacity, you can simply add more racks and scale out. All of these physical resources are aggregated by Evo SDC into a virtual pool of resources of compute, memory, storage, etc. We call that a virtual rack. So how can you make the best use of all these resources? We allow you to carve up these logical resources into private cloud instances. Also, we call them workload domain. Each of these workload domains can be optimized to suit the specific need of your use cases, whether you're running infrastructure as a service, or VDI, or even big data. We help you optimize toward the service level you need to meet, and we leverage VMware's best practices to do just that.
So we have dramatically simplified the initial deployment, I can see that. What about the ongoing updates as we introduce new capabilities and hotfixes and so on?
That's a great question, Raghu. Evo SDC helps you automate lifecycle management, including patch management. And we can patch all the software in SDC stack, but also including the underlying firmware and switching. With the help of vMotion, all of these can be handled in a very non-disruptive way, and so that you can rest easy. So what I've just shared is Evo SDC and how that enables a prescriptive integrated system-based approach. And this includes a comprehensive set of hardware and software stack that is ready to deploy.
That's great, Yanbing. So this is good for a customer that's doing a greenfield deployment using a fully integrated solution. A lot of our customers are also deploying SDDC on existing brownfield environments with existing hardware. What can we do to simplify life for them?
Absolutely. We know every data center is unique, and customers have different needs. Sometimes you want to have your own choice of hardware, and you want to also configure the software in different options. So this is the reason that we introduced VMware Validated Design, is to allow you the flexibility, the choice, but still maintain the proven model that you're going to build as part of your SDDC. So let's take a look. So just like building a house, you want to start with a very solid architectural blueprint. But you also want to have custom design choices. So VMware Validated Design are achieved through continuously testing and validating the system-level design throughout the product development cycle of all the different products in software-defined data center. So the benefit to you as a customer is accelerated time to value, and also knowing your SDDC is built on a proven model. You can access the VMware Validated Design through public domain documentations, or through our professional services, or through our partners. As you see on the screen, we welcome you to join the early access program. and give it a try on your own.
So with Evo SDDC and with the VMware validated designs, we have made the task of setting up the infrastructure for SDDC much easier in a greenfield or a brownfield environment. Now we got to deploy applications and then set up the infrastructure the right way for these applications. That in itself is a complex problem.
Absolutely. So Raghu, let's take infrastructure to application deployment. So what I would like to start is a real customer example that I find extremely compelling. Symantec, one of our customers, a global security technology leader, is using VMware's automation technology to deploy 10,000 VMs on a weekly basis. So they use this for their support organization to create customer environment to help them troubleshoot. So think about that, 10,000 VMs on a weekly basis. That's almost 500,000 VMs on an annual basis. And how can you achieve that? The only way to do it is through automation. So let's turn our attention from VM automation to application deployment automation. Application deployment can be extremely complicated. You need to constantly think about different tools, different teams, and different processes coming together just for achieving this task. Whether it's from the application development team, the database administration, infrastructure, and networking. And all of these come together through sometimes a very manual and complex process to form your application blueprint. But application blueprint cannot be just a design schematics. It needs to be a lot more. We need to think about the operation and governance policy as part of that. So this is what we call the unified service blueprint. I'm very proud to announce that today we launched vRealize Automation version 7. And with this great release, we have this new capability that allow you to leverage unified service blueprint to automate the process of application development, deployment into the unified hybrid cloud platform. And that include not only as application aspect, but a lot of the networking, security, and management policies. So let's take a look how this capability works through a real demo. What you're seeing here on the screen is a vRealize Automation 7 UI for editing blueprints. On the right-hand side, you see the design canvas. So this shows some VMs, schematics, and also the various components. The application I'm using here is a CRM application, a two-tier application that has an application VM and also a database VM. So unified blueprint integrate with management. For example, if you look at one of these VMs, you can see the log insight component integrated as part of that. And this is how we can allow you to integrate log collection and log analytics as part of this. Let's take a look at networking, how NSX networking is integrated with this blueprint as well. So this application supports you to, this application has the application tier networking associated with it, and also the SQL database tier of networking. And we also have a networking for the external traffic. You can click into these networks and check out their properties. We also allow you to add on-demand load balancer. And all of these capabilities are provisioned as your applications are provisioned, and they can be decommissioned after your application finish its life cycle. So let's take a look at security. So NSX-based security group is a concept that allows you to establish security policy during deployment time. So for example, my application VM and my SQL VM have their own unique security group defined. Remember, this is a CRM application, so it needs to handle credit card transaction, and therefore needs to be PCI compliant. I noticed the PCI security policy is missing from my SQL VM. So let me go ahead and add that. I click into that VM, I select security, and I check the PCI security group. Through a few simple steps, the security policy now is applied to my vCloud VM. As you can see, the unified blueprint capability allow you to integrate management, networking, and security as part of your application deployment.
That's very powerful. So we have simplified the infrastructure lifecycle. We simplify and automate the application lifecycle. Now let's switch gears and talk about extend. How do we extend to the public cloud?
Yeah, extend is the heart of the unified hybrid cloud. This is a difficult problem. Raghu already talked about some of the challenges. And we're going to showcase our solution in 3 different areas. How we can help you connect securely and seamlessly from private to public cloud. And how you can use that network connection to move workload back and forth. And how you manage everything holistically through a single pane of glass. So let's dive in by looking at networking first. Up until today, the industry has failed to come up with a practical and economically feasible solution to connect private and public cloud seamlessly. And what we used to do is a complex set of hardware and software get stitched together into a very complex solution. And that is going to change today with VMware's hybrid networking services. So based on the power of NSX and building in a lot of the advanced network capability, so this solution can stretch your network from private into the public cloud. It includes many of the state-of-the-art features, whether it's direct connect, VXLAN extension, strong encryption, dynamic routing, etc. The beauty of this, everything is built in software. And VMware is the only company who can do that.
That's great. So that's another massive simplification. Now we have this network connectivity foundation, right? What can we do now that we could not do before?
Yeah, what can we do with this powerful network? With the network in place, it's like your superhighway is built. So let's go ahead and start to move some workload. My personal favorite of moving a VM is through vMotion. I was so fascinated by how this capability worked. I applied for a job at VMware just to find out. And that was 8 years ago. So think about all the advancement that has happened around vMotion. So let me take you through a real demo. What you're seeing here is a familiar vSphere web client. And the application we're going to show you is an IT help desk example. And this IT help desk application has some of the core services that you have to keep up during this migration. We cannot allow it to go down. So I'm going to use vMotion to migrate this particular VM. Let me choose Migrate to vCloud Air and choose vMotion. And going through this familiar user interface, I'm going to choose the destination. And this VM will be on its way from Barcelona, my private data center, into UK, London, vCloud Air data center.
So let me get this right. Using the same interfaces that we've been using for the last 10 years, right? So you're able to move a VM live, running, compress and accelerate it, and move it from one administrative domain, one location, to another administrative domain, another location. That's fantastic.
So Raghu, that's just what has happened. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So change my mind. What if we move it back?
Okay. So we know Raghu likes to change his mind, and change his mind faster even than this VM can travel. So this VM probably take anywhere between 15 minutes to a couple of hours to reach our UK destination. So let me pick up a different VM just to demonstrate this capability. So I go back to my user interface, select migrate VM, and go through a few clicks to select my destination, connect to a ESXi cluster, and also connect to my data store on the destination side. A few simple steps, my VM will be on its way back from London back to my Barcelona private data center. So let's switch back to the presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, what you have just seen is the tech preview of the industry's very first cross-cloud vMotion. It looks very similar to the traditional vMotion and has all the magic that is in the traditional vMotion. But what is the secret sauce that allows you to travel cross-cloud? The secret sauce is a highly optimized connection that we can achieve with our hybrid network services and with strong encryption and WAN acceleration.
So this networking capability is a unique differentiator for us.
Yep.
Now, what about applying policies and governance to these applications that are running on either side of the pipe?
Yep. So now you have your workload in both your private environment and your public cloud. So let's see how we can manage everything. Not only we need to manage the infrastructure, we also need to manage the application and the network and everything in between. And the only capability that supports that today is the vRealize suite. It gives you the full visibility into your entire environment and a whole set of applications. Earlier on, we talked about the vRealize Converged Blueprint capability that allow you to deploy applications automatically into the unified hybrid platform. But that is not all. There is definitely more to it. This familiar interface you've just seen, in case you haven't noticed, on the corner of this is all the different type of cloud endpoints that vRealize automation supports. You can deploy your application not only to VMware's cloud or your private infrastructure that is based on the software-defined data center. You can deploy to Amazon AWS services. You can deploy to OpenStack, a Hyper-V-based environment, or vCloud Air and vCloud Air network partners. So this is a truly unified hybrid cloud management platform. Thank you.
So that's great, multi-cloud automation. So now we've seen the unified hybrid cloud and how we've constructed it. Now it's time to start running some applications on it. So let me bring back Bill.
Definitely. Thank you, Raghu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Yanbing, fantastic, awesome. You've built the unified hybrid platform with that superhighway in the middle. How about we try and deploy a mobile application, maybe like VMware's app that we use to provide customers with customer support? How would that work?
Let's do that. I have been waiting for the moment to switch from the hard work of building infrastructure to talk about developers and applications. Like Bill said, we're going to use VMware's very own application called My VMware. So this is our customer experience application that many of you may already have on your phone. So developers can use mobile backend as a service to help accelerate the development of such applications. And mobile backend as a service can provide you productivity by working off a set of predefined, consistent, and secure microservices. And many of you and many of our customers and ourselves are using this type of capability to accelerate the digital initiative. So let's take you through a demo to see how this works. What you're seeing here on screen is a mobile backend as a service console running on vCloud Air. And this is provided by our partner, Convey. So one way to improve developer productivity is to allow you to handle very difficult tasks, such as user authentication. Using this service, you can automatically connect to your LDAP service or to VMware's identity management system. It also makes it very easy to connect to different data sources. You may have data sources already in your enterprise environment, and you have it in your public cloud. And so, for example, in this use case, we have our purchase rack data source. That's what I'm going to connect to. And again, a few simple clicks without writing a single line of code. It is that simple. And when I finish developing this application, I'm ready to push it to production. Going through a few clicks, I'm going to choose this application and try to push it from deployment to production. and this application will be going live. It is that simple, Bill.
And that's it?
Yep.
So using one of the partner-provided application services available on the hybrid cloud platform, the developers have created a mobile front end that connects securely and seamlessly back to our really sensitive client data that's on premises, and the app is up and running.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
So there you have it. What I've demonstrated is a complete end-to-end unified hybrid cloud, the first one cloud architecture in the industry. Let me do a quick recap. I started with simplify, how we can use SDDC to help you simplify building the private cloud. We talk about Evo SDDC, Evo SDDC Manager, VMware validated designs, and also vRealize Automation 7. Then we talk about extend, how we can use vCloud Air hybrid network services to help you connect seamlessly into the public cloud, and how can you use that network foundation to achieve cross-cloud live vMotion. Then we talk about reach, the process of building powerful mobile applications on the platform and help you reach millions of users. It gives me great pleasure to be sharing all of these innovations with all of you. So check out the hands-on labs, interact with our engineers, and have a great VMworld. Thank you.
Great job, Yanbing. Round of
Thank you,
applause.
Bill.
Thank you very much, Yanbing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Cross-cloud vMotion, very, very cool. OK, let me just summarize this section on behalf of Yanbing, Raghu, and I. Hopefully what we've done is provided you with a very new way to think about your cloud strategy. Hopefully you've got the message. The future of your application deployments is around hybrid applications. And also, hopefully you've now also realized that you all have hybrid use cases. I talked about disaster recovery, about the need to scale out applications, and of course, the deployment of new mobile applications. All of this is at the very core as you digitize your business. Hopefully, you've also taken away from this that you already have many of the building blocks you need to get started on building your own unified hybrid cloud platform. And also, you've also got the message that what we'd like you to do is get started today and talk to a number of the other customers and partners here who can already share some amazing experiences and get the chance to really experiment with a lot of this new technology at the hands-on labs. But what really makes all of this possible is you, with your extraordinary innovation, your drive and passion to take advantage of our technology and take it to a whole new level and do things that even we haven't thought about. Absolutely amazing. And I'd encourage you to take a lot of this that we've talked about today, think about it and take it back to your organization. And our commitment is to continue to innovate and continue to give you the fuel that you're going to need to continue to be the entrepreneurs within your own organization. What a great day. So to wrap up all of today, we obviously heard from Carl about our overarching strategy and vision. You heard firsthand from a couple of customers about how they're starting to deploy this technology and get tremendous business value. In the build section, Kit and Ray shared our vision for cloud-native applications and the really exciting news around vSphere integrated containers and the Photon platform. And then finally, Raghu, Yanbing, and I showed you the unified hybrid cloud platform, the innovative technology within that, and that's what you're going to need to run your existing and future applications. What a great day. Tomorrow morning, the keynote starts at 9 o'clock with Sanjay, my colleague, and he's got some great discussion points around how you can make sure that that application will run on any device. Martin Casado follows Sanjay to talk about how you can secure those applications using a very powerful networking technology. And to round the day out, we have Pat's session, which you don't want to miss, which is about the future of digital business. So that's it. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your VMworld. Thank you.